Hey there, adventure seekers! Are you dreaming of turquoise waters, white sand beaches, and the freedom of the open sea? Well, you've come to the right place. This is your guide to Bahamas sailing, your 7-day escape. And trust me, you're about to discover how to truly escape to paradise. The image of a pristine bay with a beautiful sailboat anchored there isn't just a pretty picture. It's a promise of tranquility and adventure. I'm going to take you on a virtual journey to the Bahamas to show you why it's the perfect destination for a sailing charter. And because I know you don't just want pretty pictures, we're not stopping there. We're also going to cover something really important, avoiding those charter mistakes that can turn your dream trip into a real headache. We'll get to that bonus in a bit. So whether you're a seasoned sailor or just dreaming of setting sail, stick with me. You're going to want to watch this video. All right, let's talk about the actual sailing. I mean, the Bahamas is pretty, but it is the sailing that really sets it apart. Now, the Bahamas are more than just one big island, and not all the places are the same. We've all seen that picture of the pigs swimming in the water, but you really want to start in the Exumas. It's the place where all the famous people go, so you know it is going to be nice. The water is unbelievable. We're talking about that perfect shade of turquoise that looks like it belongs in a movie. We need to figure out what to do, where to do it, and how to do it the best way. One of the things that will make your life easy is choosing places that are a little more established for your first trip. Take the Staniel Cay Yacht Club, for example. It's a marina, so you can get a slip and get some help getting in and out, which is always a bonus. Plus, it has a great bar for when you're all tired of swimming in that gorgeous water. Don't worry. We're going to get to those anchorages too. Just stick with me. We also have Norman's Cay, which has a pretty cool history for first-timers. Just be careful to stay in the charted channel. It gets shallow pretty quick, but it also gives it that protected feel. Then there is Warderick Wells, which is where you can find the famous boneyard, which sounds way more ominous than it is. It's just a nice beach where people leave the bones of sea animals, which I have found a little creepy, but everyone else seems to love. Just don't let that worry you. Speaking of not worrying, if you're enjoying this, then you should check out the rest of the Sailing Adventures playlist. I bet there are some other locations you will like. Now let's dive into the routes. How can you best spend 7 days in the Bahamas? This isn't a race, it's a vacation. Think of it more as a gentle glide from one gorgeous spot to the next. Day 1, you might leave from Nassau, head straight to Allen's Cay. They are famous for their iguanas. Then day 2, head down to Highbourne Cay for some more of that incredible water. Day 3, you can anchor or tie up at the Staniel Cay Yacht Club. You will need a day or so to go see the swimming pigs, Thunderball Grotto, which is pretty cool, or just hang out on the beach. Day 4 should take you down to Black Point Settlement for some great local culture. The bread there is amazing. On day 5, you should go to Norman's Cay and that infamous plane wreck you see in all the pictures. It's just a great day of hanging on the beach. Then day 6 and 7 is a nice smooth sail back towards Nassau, stopping in a nice anchorage if you can. It's a plan, but it's not a plan you have to stick to perfectly. I'm just giving you an idea of how these distances can easily be sailed in 7 days. Remember that if you want a more active vacation, you'll find ways to make it more challenging, but you can also be happy to go nice and slow. Speaking of being comfortable, I bet you are starting to wonder how that works exactly. Let's talk practical sailing. I know that when I talk about being out on the water, you're imagining yourself on the sailboat. But for a lot of people that are thinking about this, the practical part is what is stopping you. Trust me, it's easier than you think. We are not talking about racing around buoys or any of that. For the Bahamas, you really only need to know a few things. I already mentioned it before, but navigation is really the key to a worry-free trip. Don't just blindly trust your chart plotter, actually learn how it works. I know they are fancy, but they are only as good as the person using them. Pay attention to your surroundings. Use your eyes. Don't look at the chart plotter when you are running up the entrance to a cut. Also, be aware that currents in the Bahamas can be very strong, especially in those narrow passages. You need to plan to arrive in a pass at slack tide, meaning the water is not moving fast. That way your trip will be super relaxing and you won't be fighting the current. Speaking of the current, are you starting to feel the urge to sail away? You should head to the comments and let me know what you think so far. I like reading them. Now, are you ready for our bonus section? Okay, it's time to get real about some of the bumps in the road. Here's what we've learned the hard way. Avoiding these charter mistakes are really the key to having a seamless adventure. Mistake number 1, underestimating provisions. I know it's easy to think, oh, we can pick up stuff along the way, but provisioning in the Bahamas takes a little planning. And the further out you get, the harder the stores are to get to and the more expensive they become. So, my first pro tip is create a very detailed provisioning list and start shopping several weeks before you go. Even if you are ordering online, do it before it is too late, or you may end up with some very expensive grocery runs on the way. Mistake number 2, not understanding local weather. Tropical weather is, well, tropical. It can change very fast. Checking your forecasts daily is a must. Also, learn to read the sky. I'm not saying you have to become a professional meteorologist, but understand that dark clouds mean potential rain. The weather in the Bahamas will also impact tides, which are very important if you're going into some of the smaller anchorages. Finally, mistake number 3, skipping the boat inventory. This one sounds a bit like nagging, but it is important. I know that when you get on that boat, you just want to go. But trust me, taking 30 minutes to go through the boat's inventory and note any damages will prevent headaches later. And trust me, you don't want to be having headaches when you are trying to relax in paradise. These aren't hard things, but they really do make a difference between having a good and a great trip. So there you have it, a whirlwind tour of the Bahamas, from beautiful anchorages to crucial sailing techniques and even the little mistakes we've all made. You're now armed with the knowledge and inspiration to start planning your own sailing escape. This isn't just about sailing. It's about the adventure, the freedom, and the stories you'll collect along the way. I hope it's got you dreaming of white sand beaches and that turquoise water. Remember to check out the rest of the Sailing Adventures playlist if you want more locations and ideas. Now, if you've enjoyed this, I have an invitation for you. If you want another incredible sailing adventure, then you absolutely have to watch next video, Discover Turkey, Your Yacht Adventure. It's another amazing location that you won't want to miss, and as always, fair winds and following seas.